26 past 8. Fiona Scott Norman is with us. We're going to talk about apples, the taste of apple.
Oh, okay.
Is the correct title for a remarkable literary and musical combination.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. I was very fascinated. But have you ever seen that film?
Yeah, that film.
Oh, Blue Steel, Zoolander. There we
Zoolander.
Go. Yes, and there's an award ceremony in there where they're giving an award to a model/actor because it's the slashes. So it's people where there's this slash that slash the other, and I always thought that was pretty fabulous, the idea of winning a slashy.
Yes.
And and it strikes me that this book is a little bit like this, The Taste of Apple.
Well, it's got 2 slashes in it.
Well, it's got 3, really,
3? Okay.
because it's a novel and a CD, and it's also poetry.
Yes, and / interactive CD-ROM as well, thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're not explaining it very well. Don Stewart and James Laidler, who are here in the studio
they're
with us,
probably much better.
Who share responsibility for this for various aspects of this, I should say. James as the author, the poet, and Don as the person who wrote the music for same. Is that how it works?
Yep.
I thought I'd get that right.
Yeah, well done.
We know.
How did you?
Well, we should explain what it is first of all.
Okay. Yes.
But it is. It's a novel, but it's in poetry form.
It is. It's in poetry form. Although I should say that it really reads like a standard novel. The poetry is really poetic prose in a way, and it's not like high literature. Poetry that sort of people often fumble over and
Dante's got nothing to worry about.
Can't decipher.
Yes,
it's very straightforward.
Yes,
and
there's no iambic pentameter there, as far as I could tell.
There is in one poem actually.
Is there?
In one poem.
There's a bit of iambic.
A little bit.
Not overdone. Yes.
Yeah.
Rhyming.
And it's the story.
No, it's all free verse.
Yep.
And it's the story about.
It's the story about Pedro Jones, who is a young boy whose mother is a Filipino immigrant, and he's growing up in Melbourne, in the inner city suburbs of Heidelberg and Richmond, and it's sort of a family, a story of dysfunctional family life and family breakdown, and his journeys. And Pedro at one stage is forced to move into the commission flats in inner city Richmond, and he befriends an asylum seeker from East Timor. Called Johnny, and Johnny is a survivor of the Dili massacre, and it's sort of it's a coming of age story, and it's about Pedro's growing maturity and new understandings he gets about life.
Now that's the base. We'll come back to why you've decided to do it in the format that you have, but it does automatically, if you like, as a great story, it automatically infers songs. Because of aspects of the story itself and so forth, and this is your neck of the woods, young Don Stewart, isn't it?
Young Don, I like that. Yeah.
But yeah, so your part is in this project has been creating the appropriate music, which is an integral part of the whole experience.
Yeah, I think it's become an integral part anyway. I mean. The novel and the story began with James, but once we'd sort of embarked on this experiment, really, of trying to fit some music to it, I'd like to think it's become an integral part of it. Yeah.
Well, I suppose in theory we should ask James if he thinks it's...
You should, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It was a loaded question, really, wasn't it?
So have you... was it a case of... James, you saying, well, I'd really like some music to go with this. This is the original concept. And you went, well, I've got my mate Don who writes songs, or have you guys collaborated in the past on other things?
Well, we're good friends, and we have worked together in the past, and Don lives close to me, actually.
Ticking all the boxes.
Yeah, we actually hail from Warrnambool. But the process was, I started writing the novel, and I got a fair way in, but... the very first poem or part of the novel, I kept coming back to and thinking, this could work with music. And we'd been partly inspired by some work by Ben Folds and William Shatner has been. Yeah, and we've been listening to this album incessantly.
You make me how can you not? It's brilliant.
Yeah, well, it's music and spoken words, and it just blew our mind, and we thought, this novel could work. And
it's punching you there. Talking my language. Yeah. Oh, so great. So you've made me happy. So you're inspired by Ben Folds and William Shatner.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was the catalyst, really.
Wow.
And we got one track down, and it worked, and we went, let's just keep doing this. Let's see how far we can go. And we sort of picked out what we thought were the sort of the cathartic moments in the text that sort of needed some, the really emotional high points, and we tried to put them to song or to spoken word.
So it's like a score.
It is, yeah.
Well, what we should do is, in fact, give a demonstration of how this all works together, because we have imposed upon James to actually deliver some of the poetry, and it is poetry, even it's a novel, but it's poetry. Delivers poetry that bookends a song.
Yep, absolutely.
So you have to point to me when it's time to press the button.
No worries, and I'll give you the context of it. Okay. So Pedro, when he's lost and he's living in the inner city, he befriends Johnny, and Johnny takes him out to he's touring around the suburbs with this group, trying to raise awareness of East Timorese liberation and the cause for East Timorese liberation. So this is pre-independence. And Johnny is a very unstable character, and he's a street busker, and he's written this song, having survived the Dili massacre. And Pedro goes to this gig, and he sees Johnny sing this song for the first time, and he suddenly understands so much more about Johnny. And so I'll read a poem before the song and then one immediately afterwards. This poem's called Another Place. Up in front of us, guitar in hand, Johnny stands. His eyes are on the audience, but I can tell he's staring right through us. Johnny's in another place. Maybe he's still standing among the sounds of gunfire and the screams that reached him from under the hall's front door. Or perhaps, in his mind, he's back in East Timor, crouched beside his mother's grave. Wherever he is, I'll never know. But by the way Johnny sings, I know it's a place of infinite sadness, a place of vast and unfathomable grief.